Hello, my name is Michael Ensor, the founder of Advertising Report Card, and this report is for Balchem Plant Nutrition. This is in conjunction with Chris Morin at Moonraker. So I wanted to hop in and get started. Looking forward to showing you guys the things that we found. This report card in general opened up a ton of opportunity, but at the same time addressed a lot of issues that we found. So I broke it down simply based off of what I found, with the expectation that once you're done watching this, we'll be able to come to the table and come up with an actual operational go-to-market strategy as to who we're trying to get in front of and what that messaging should be. So looking forward to showing you guys everything. And to get started, let me run you through how this works. First of all, we have a very structured way of going through advertising audits. We look at people who have and have not ran different types of marketing. We look at the competitors and what they're doing. And then we break down a full report. This is not boilerplate at all. It's custom based off of what we found. We're going to send this video to you so you can go through it, and then thereafter have a Q&A session and then give you some next steps based off of the feedback you give us. Unlike a lot of the different types of reports that we've done, this one's highly variable, and there's a lot of unanswered questions in regards to who we're targeting and why, and who we are already showing for, and what's relevant about that versus what's irrelevant about it. So as we move forward, these assets here in this list are the reports that come from what had helped pull this together. But the main two ones I want you both to really take a look at are the keyword reports between plant nutrition and bulk plant nutrients for farms. So to jump right in, as far as rankings go, SEO is really going to be the core of what we're looking at as far as why the site shows up. So before you do Google ads for paid or YouTube ads or Facebook ads or any other marketing when you have paid media, it's always important to say, how's the site ranking? Why does it rank that way? For what keywords does it rank? And is that relevant? Are we reaching our market right now? Can we take that data and then move it into the paid media space? Because the data that the traffic that we're driving right now and the data that we're getting matches up with who our core demographic is. So as you can see here, first of all, this is based off of just the plant nutrition page and all the pages connected to just the plant nutrition department. The page authority score is only 16. For a major website, a major brand, this is actually very low. It's odd actually to see a page like that is so low. And it has a lot to do with who's pointing to this page and who this page is pointing to. So it looks like there might be some competition between Balchem.com and Plant Nutrition, because Balchem.com does not have any issues with the authority. With that being said, some shifts in how links are pointed could fix that as well. Another thing too is that we do have organic search traffic to an extent, but most of it's actually coming from the homepage and then going into Plant Nutrition. So Plant Nutrition itself should be driving the traffic directly to its subpage, not just the homepage. So that has to do with how links are structured. Those are things that could be modified. But one thing is important to note is that because of this, there's almost no true organic traffic getting to this page. Another thing that I wanted to point out is that we actually have a lot of keywords that we rank for. These keywords do not drive traffic. So it's interesting to see how we rank for these. First of all, we only have 1 to 2 or 3 in the top 3. With the vast majority of what we have, it looks like upwards of probably like 80 to 90% of the keywords that we have are 3 to 4 pages back on Google, which again, as someone who's not necessarily a monopoly, but dominating the space and making acquisitions of businesses and the entire industry summoning to this central point of purchase where they're going to get their material for the agriculture industry, it's just kind of odd that we're not at the top for more of the core keywords. This all bridges back to how the website and the content on the website has been structured. The content on the website is almost all education based. This is almost like an EDU site, not a B2B or a B2C site. Granted, you have to have education so people know what you have, but the way that this site's actually being indexed by Google is it's showing up for keywords that are very top of funnel, nothing very specific, and they're absolutely not showing up for any terms that are B2B. So these are the actual keywords, if you pull an index on the site, that we're showing up for. plant nutrition, chelated plant nutrients, plant nutrition for kids. What's the most nutritious plant in the world? So these keywords, while might be relevant to plant nutrients, that in itself is not the object, because just the word plant nutrients could mean anything. It's very broad, and what ends up happening is if you look at your actual competitors for the keywords that your website currently ranks for, they're all B2C. So you have Oxylent, which is a sports drink. You have Bioceuticals, which is prenatal. And you even have a horse feed to get the best horse performance. None of these three, based off of the content on the Balchem website, is relevant. Unlike other divisions in Balchem, which we've worked with, there's an end goal of creating some type of product, which, like beverage creation on the human nutrient side, maybe something similar to one of these types of people, like the person who's trying to develop this product might reach out for that because they need to develop the product. But on the plant side specifically, this is all based off, from what we found off of all of these pages, is based off of yield for specific types of plants. So we're 100% going after farmers. We're not here to create a new nutrient with some company that wants to take their nutrients and make a new compound. If that was the case, it is not clear on the site. It does not look like that is something that would be offered. Maybe someone might reach out with that idea, but the runway for that does not exist for balchem.com/plant nutrition at all. And search terms reflect that as well. What we're actually seeing is what looks like a B2c approach. So if you're selling bulk, then the idea of having product listings that look like product listings, these don't look like different types of things that people can order in bulk. They look like a 2.5 gallon bucket. And if you actually click on this product listing, it's going to take you to what looks like an e-commerce website. And then it says contact a representative. So to this point, the one thing I wanted to point out too on this is that people are not taking this route. You can see that statistically in the analytics. I wanted to say, first and foremost, I'm not a plant nutrition scientist. I'm not a scientist in the realm of what Balchem does, but I am a data scientist. And if you look at these stats, you'll see a lot of pages. And what you see is if you try to pop these pages open, we have a lot of dead pages. Error 404. Actually, about 90% of these pages are dead pages. This is a huge red flag. And it's a smoking gun in the essence that the way that the site used to be structured is no longer the focus, or something must have changed. But the reality of the situation is you have a lot of listings with a lot of pages underneath the plant nutrition department that are 404 pages. They're dead pages. Google picks this up and it will hurt you on rankings for this. But then it just kind of makes you circle back. Like, how did you get 131 pages underneath plant nutrition with only a couple dozen working at most? It's odd as much as it is a little confusing. Like, from my perspective, what happened to all of these pages that disappeared, and why aren't they being 301 redirected to a proper URL? This is more or less on the web management side, because they should be able to pick up 404s when they hit. If you were to pull an index on a tool like Screaming Frog, it'd be very evident as to what pages are 404s. So this is something that definitely needs to get fixed, because it is completely killing the leg. It's chopping off the legs of plant nutrition's ability to rank. So that's one of the things I wanted to point out. But then also, to kind of circle back to what we're talking about at the initial point, is that the keywords that we are ranking for that are driving traffic to these pages are wholly irrelevant. And that is 100% based off of the content that's on the site. If you're looking to address a specific demographic, you can't be vague. There's no point. If you want to have an education site, that's what the blog is for. Your core pages should be getting you contact information for people who want to make purchases from Balchem. The whole point of having a website is it's a 24/7 salesperson. But if the website itself isn't selling, or if people who want to buy don't know how to buy, then it's almost like a self-defeating purpose. This needs to get worked on by Balchem, and I think that the only way that I could help is a better explanation as to what the true target is, because as someone who does this all the time in a lot of different industries for a lot of different sites, it's so ominous as to who we're actually trying to talk to. It's just the fact that we are providing these things and they do great stuff, and the results are there, the science is there, we have a whole team, we have a whole process. This is all very good. Who are you targeting with this? What instruction are you giving them? And what are the next steps? So that's the main thing I wanted to point out here, is that if you look at the actual data, people don't know what to do when they get to this site. I guarantee you some people probably fill out the form because they know Balchem is who they need to work with. But the actual pathway of getting there is almost like an obstacle. So let's continue down to kind of dive deeper into this. So underneath the specialty products, and of course, this is not an effort to say we need to modify the navigation, just again, to kind of outline exactly what is being marketed. There is no nutrient product creation or ideation strategy here. This isn't like the other branch that we did for Balchem. These are specifically addressing types of agricultural businesses that are focusing on specific crops, and Balchem's providing that solution with metallosate in order to, I'm sorry if I pronounce that wrong, is to expand the ability to grow the crop, better yield. One of the biggest ranking competitors is Albion. This is actually something that I found confusing when I first started doing research on this branch and how you guys are impacted in the market by your competitors, is that Balchem is seemingly in competition with its own providers. Albion is owned by Balchem, but if you were to look for metallosate or similar products, the confusion between Albion, metallosate, and Balchem is prevalent. People are labeling products with trademarks. People are addressing different aspects of what is in these products, and there's really just a lot of different products in general. Let me pull up the listing again. What you have is you have a Google listings. You have the first listing on organic. Look at how this reads. Plant nutrition, Balchem, products are the result of necessary elemental minerals, and then look at the next one. Registered exactly what it is with inventory, ready to sell directly B2C. So as a person looking into metallosate or something related to it, Balchem in itself isn't positioned to grab that traffic. People who are looking to sell the product are. And then also Albion is being advertised versus metallosate. And then there's missing trademarks in the listing. Then you have it again here, and that's metallosate.com.au. So again, if Albion is owned by Balchem, metallosate is produced by Balchem, where are all these other websites coming from? Why are they mislabeling trademark? Which is the true source of buying this product? The reason why I emphasize that is because bulk product, commodity, or even niche product, if people feel like they're getting something that's not legitimate, or it's a byproduct or a resold product, or something that may have been bought and then filtered out into a bigger supply, there's a lot of people that are going to be skeptical of making a purchase because they don't know who the true source is. It's not clear. If you really look at these searches, it is not clear. You can see we have our Balchem listing here, but then you also have a whole market addressing this product. Who are people supposed to buy from? Where is the next step in that purchase? So let me address this. The average person is looking for the path of least resistance. That doesn't prevent research. If you look at the actual demographic of people that are managing farms on the operational level, they have decades of experience, lots of experience in the actual science of growing. So people aren't afraid to do research per se. It's not the owner of a farm who's doing it anyways. It's the person who's responsible for fulfillment and purchases in order to keep the crop growing. But I just wanted to highlight the confusion here between the consumer. Where should people go to buy the product? And what's happening with all these other brands? Where's the consolidation? Where's the brand uniformity to say, okay, well, all these other people are selling Balchem's Metalose product, and except Balchem. And I guess with that being said, manufacturers have distributors. There's this point of a distributor network because manufacturers don't necessarily have the channel to go B2C. If that's the case, then why are we positioning the site to be B2C? Standard U.S. container size, 2.5 gallon. This reads like someone who wants to make a purchase for this product. Another thing too I wanted to highlight, you can actually track back every submission to the pathway that a person would take to get to this point, but every URL leads back to the generic contact page. Why not just have someone fill out the form right there on that product page? Or, the pathway to this, again, it's confusing. It's not consumer friendly. B2C, B2B, whoever, it's not a straightforward path to work with Balchem for anyone. So to further iron that out, I looked at the FAQ section where it says Metalose is not sold directly to consumers or available in retail stores, but your distributors are selling it direct to consumers. So again, is Balchem selling Metalose-based product to B2B? And if they are, all the content on the site needs to read like that. There should be no room for confusion as to how you are fulfilling the transaction between your partners, your distributors, your customers. And it just says what you don't do. It says that you're going to get somebody who's going to be assigned to your area, a rep, but it's not clear still. On the website, this one little section of the FAQ, which, by the way, people would have to go out of their way to find. This wasn't something that just popped up. I had to dig through the site to find this little section. If somebody goes to Google and they're doing research, I think that they're going to bypass Balchem entirely because it's just not clear. Like, you have to dig to find the right information. The site, again, is more infomercial. It's not sales. It's not buy here. It's not how to buy here. This is Metalose. We help grow crops. We have a great team. And then thereafter, it's like how to work with your team is ominous. Consider this as well on a B2C to B2B scale. Someone sees this product listing with these products here, different prices, different quality. People are going to go to Arbicool, Grow Green, Grow Generation, and talk bulk orders from them because they're B2B. They don't want to buy just one container. Maybe they will to sample it, but that doesn't make a lot of sense either. They're looking for someone who they can invest bulk money in order to get enough product to cover their agricultural business. So if you really look at how a lot of people are shopping ingredient, they look for this and they go and they find the wholesaler. So in this, again, there's going to be some confusion with people doing general research. And to highlight who we are ranking against right now, all of these, and I already pulled up the site like Oxylent, the farm, the horse nutrient, the prenatal nutrient. This is currently who Balchem Plant Nutrition branches up against. It's all B2C. None of this is B2B. So if the goal is to do agricultural practice, the target is completely being missed. This is 100% going to the person who's looking to get that 2.5 gallon bucket, not the person looking to get 2.5 million gallons. So this kind of brings me back to something that we typically get when we're doing these reports. And this is what I wanted to iron this out, because without someone telling me this is our 100% customer, this is 100% our demographic, this is all we want to drive, looking at who's doing the purchasing versus looking who the Balchem Plant Nutrition websites is targeting is, again, B2C versus B2B. So I broke that down here, and what I looked for are what people who are in the agricultural operations business do research on. bulk plant nutrients, bulk plant nutrition for farmers, for agriculture, for trees, for berries, for apples, for whatever it is that you guys are looking to target. There are lists of actual competitors, correct fertilizer, and then also the Andersons. And then I pulled up some more keyword research here at the very top after looking at the separate keyword for bulk. And what you'll see here is that now we're at the point to where people are looking for actual competitors that are providing actual product, Fox Farm. And then you also have like your individual, I mean, this is hydroponic nutrients because it's farm, so this got pulled up in search results. So this is not as relevant. But the idea is you have specific competitors that are providing specific stuff, but these search terms aren't coming up because your competitors exist. They come up because if someone searches for bulk nutrient orders, bulk plant nutrient orders, bulk plant nutrient wholesalers, providers, manufacturers, these are the ones who come up because they've positioned themselves to show up for those types of searches. So let's go back down. By the way, this report will be available to you, including all the results and all of the research. But so this is really just kind of scratching the surface, in my opinion, to how plant nutrition should be positioning itself based off of how people are actually making purchases, because each and every single one of these sub pages or these subcategories, vegetables, ornamental trees, organic crops, there's competitors that are different for each one. Some of them are the same, but there are people who have specializations, like just for vegetables or just for trees. So what's important to realize is that each of these sections with their own competitors needs to be addressed uniquely on each page so that these pages aren't ranking for irrelevant terms inside of those subsections, inside of those niche aspects of the vertical that you're operating in. Right now, again, it's loosely B2C by appearance, by search. It's absolutely, like, objectively speaking, you're ranking for B2C terms. So what do we need to do to position ourselves better? So this is what we like to call a customer avatar practice. I'm sure that on your end, your guys' team has done this once or twice before in possible team meetings, or if you've hired outside research consultants, I'm sure they probably walked you through something like this. So we're going to keep it very simple and direct. The way that we found this guy, and just in case you're wondering, we don't know who this is we search for Agricultural Operations Manager LinkedIn. So someone who may or may not, again, a little elaboration on the Balchem team side would go a long way here, is this person is absolutely in charge of looking at quality, how things are going, looking at yield, and reacting to that, and also being proactive to that by making sure that they are getting the right ingredients in to keep things going. If you really read through what he does, that's the whole focus. This is someone who could potentially be looking to have some type of relationship with Balchem when it comes to purchasing. This person is going to struggle to understand Balchem's website and how they can work with Balchem, while in the interim, all of those other results that I've been showing on Google are pretty straightforward. So is this the person that we're going after, the person who is in charge of buying decisions for bulk operations in the agricultural industry? Or are we just looking for the mom and pop flower shop? Are we looking for the person who is growing vegetables in their backyard? Maybe someone has like a little indoor hydroponic set, it's just, who are we trying to target? And that in itself is the discussion that needs to get had. And my recommendation is to reverse engineer that person's buyer journey into the website. If you want to keep your informational brochure styled content, you should, but at least make it easy for someone who is trying to get to the site and trying to make a buying decision. Make it very easy for them to understand their options. You would literally have to be, at this point, just based off of, stats when it comes to user experience on websites, all the way through e-com and purchasing and lead gen, like statistics in general, you're going to have a hard time generating leads with the current approach. And the leads that you generate, I would not be surprised if they're confused. They're probably going to be like, well, we know we need this. We don't know how we're going to get it. How's this going to work? And they're going to hope that someone from Balchem reaches out to help them with that. But realistically speaking, if that person from Balchem doesn't reach out to this person within like 3 to 4 hours, I would be willing to wager they're already looking at other people. And if that other person either has a direct to purchase option, a direct to quote option, or the ability to speak to someone in a faster amount of time, you'll never hear from them again because they already found someone else, or they went through one of your distributor partners, or they went through a different place to get something completely different that Balchem doesn't produce at all. How are you going to track that? How's Balchem going to take ownership of that customer journey? So that's where I'm going to leave this report off at right now. I think that there is absolutely a lot of discussion that still needs to be had before we really iron this out. But at the end of the day, as someone who is for the ease of consumerism, because my job as someone who manages paid media, and I've spent over $100 million on Facebook and Google and associated channels over the past 10 years. It's something that this is something that's a common problem for a lot of sites and a lot of businesses. They have the greatest product possible in the industry. You're not necessarily a monopoly, but essentially you have the product that people want. You have the solution. And Balchem's a big company. There's a lot of science, a lot of development going into the actual product. It would appear that the actual development going into getting that to the end user, there's gaps there. So while you might have a great product and an amazing team, and you have something that you can deliver, the person who wants the product isn't getting it delivered because they don't know the pathway to get there. And again, this is as objective as possible, just based off of the stats that I pulled. And that's something also, subjectively speaking, I'm not a plant nutrition expert, but I am a consumerism expert online. So that's where this is coming from. If you have any questions on this, let me know. But again, I think that the strategies that we can get in front of here are very applicable on the SEO side. If you're looking at paid media, I would actually need to know who your real competitors are, because if you look at all the things that I found, it's kind of difficult to determine who's a distributor, who's not, who's a competitor, who's not, who Balchem owns, who they don't. To really want to say, okay, on a social ads campaign, we're going to go after these competitors. What we can do is go after the job title, which again would need more refining, in my opinion. This is based off of what I found. Is this the person that we should be going after? If so, then we have a foothold in the market. People who are in the agricultural industry that are also at the operations level in the executive team. We can target that. That's absolutely something we can target. But what is the message that we're sending them? Are we going to help you? How are we going to help you? How is that going to be easy for you? Is it something that you can do today, tomorrow, next month? There's so many more questions than there are answers right now. Also on the Google Ads side, one thing I wanted to mention is that for the people who are looking for bulk plant nutrients, we can position an ad at the very top that isn't an e-commerce ad. So let me show you what that looks like. So again, I know that we're working in different industries. Disregard the Canna Gardening and Canna Group. You have people with ads up here. You also have shopping ads for buckets and whatnot. You can see even here a $2,000 drum, 55 gallon is available. But this position is what I'm talking about, where we should be positioning ourselves. Since we don't have the organic ranking and we need to determine who the core market is and how they search for their next product purchase for their farm operation, while we have that developed into the SEO strategy, because it's going to take 6 months at least to rank top for those keywords, because you're so far buried between the 404 error pages on the website and the overall lack of content marketing direction that it's almost like it's never been done. The benefit that you have is that you're Balchem.com. Balchem is a massive company. There's a ton of people pointing links to it. As long as we can shift that a little bit, there's no reason why we can't rush the lift of plant nutrient branch. But the main thing too is there's already competitors doing it. We need to really iron out who we're trying to get in front of. In the interim of getting that organic traffic built up, you can run ads and position ourselves on top of the competitor keyword. If you know of a competitor in the name of a brand and what someone would search to buy from them versus Balchem, let's park an ad right on top of those search results to make sure that people know, A, Balchem, B, where from Balchem should they be getting this product from. Which leads me back to my final point. We haven't been able to get a lot of information as to what happens once someone fills out that form. Are they going to a sales team? Are they going to a consultant? Are they going to a third-party vendor? That's really going to make a big difference too, because at the end of the day, we're running paid media to generate leads and sales. So we need to be able to track that. And also, we need to do it well. We need to do well to it. We don't want to get a 0.5 conversion rate. We want a 10% conversion rate. We want 1 in 10 people who get to this site to want to work with you, to call you, to fill out the form. Right now, the conversion rate is below 1%. So we need to do better when it comes to capturing the leads. And we also need to understand what happens thereafter. Was that a good lead? Why did they fill out the form? And reverse engineer that back into the marketing campaign. I'd say that what happens when someone fills out a form is as unclear to us as to who we should be targeting with the content. So again, to kind of circle back to my point 10 minutes ago, there are more questions here based off of what's on the website and what your competitors are doing than there are answers. That should be addressed on the Balchem website. There should be no room for confusion. Regardless if you are an industry expert and you have been doing plant nutrition since you were 15, it should not be difficult to have a sale, whether it's B2B or B2C. At the end of the day, it's consumerism. And if you put barriers, if you put obstacles in front of this person, if you make it unclear, yes, you might get a more ironed out, higher quality lead once in a blue moon because they actually made it through the obstacles and understood things. But then you're looking at the other, 90% of the market that didn't. So you're leaving a lot on the table as is. This is all something that can be worked on and fixed. So I am happy that we did this review up until this extent. So the next time that we talk about what are the next steps to spend money on social, spend money on Google to drive the right type of traffic, that at least we'll have this ironed out and that we'll better understand. It's like, okay, well, if we wanted to just send a bunch of people to our website based off of a keyword that they clicked an ad for, with the expectation of what the conversion rate is. So that's really the summary in it. We need to iron out the content marketing strategy, the demographic strategy, the customer avatar, and the pathway to either generate that lead or purchase. Again, this is Michael Enso with Advertising Report Card in conjunction with Chris Moore and Moonraker. Love Balchem as a company. Your guys' team is awesome. It's my job to try to stand back as objectively as possible and poke holes in the situation to find out what we can fix, what we can do to better improve this. And what I've laid out here is absolutely a runway to fixing what I see is a major purchasing problem. If you have any questions, let me know.